There is a plant growing in your yard right now that contains more iron than steak. Not slightly more, significantly more. 3.1 milligrams per 100 grams versus 2.6 for beef. The longest living people on Earth eat it daily. In Okinawa, Japan, where more people reach 100 than anywhere else, it appears in meals 4 to 5 times per week. In Ikaria, Greece, where residents forget to die, they harvest it every spring and call it a gift from the land. This plant has been used medicinally for over 1,000 years. It was documented in Arabic medical texts in the 10th century. Native Americans used every part of it. European peasants survived famines because of it. Chinese emperors demanded it for their physicians. And you pull it out of your yard every weekend and throw it in the trash. The global lawn care industry generates over $40 billion annually, convincing you to poison it. Bayer, Scots. Miracle-Gro and Corteva sell products specifically engineered to eradicate it from your property. They have spent decades teaching you that this plant is an enemy. They created an entire cultural movement around its destruction. They succeeded so completely that modern humans pay money to destroy free food. They were lying, and the lie was worth billions. This is the dandelion, Taraxacum officinale, the recession-proof root hiding in plain sight. Welcome to Recession Roots. Before we dig deeper, if uncovering the free food they tried to poison out of existence matters to you, subscribe and hit the bell. Every video preserves what corporations want you to forget. The story begins in 900 AD in the courts of Arabian physicians. A medical text called Al-Qainun fi al-Tayyib, written by the Persian polymath Ibn Sina, documented a plant he called Taraxacum. He prescribed it for liver ailments, digestive troubles, and blood purification. The name would evolve through Arabic, through medieval Latin, through Old French dent de lion, meaning lion's tooth, named for the jagged edges of its leaves. By the time it reached English, it became dandelion. But humans knew this plant long before Ibn Sina wrote about it. Archaeological evidence suggests dandelion consumption dating back over 30,000 years. Seeds have been found in ancient human settlements across Europe and Asia. Cave dwellings in the Mediterranean region contained remnants of dandelion preparation. This was not a weed to our ancestors. This was survival. This was medicine. This was security against the unknown. The Anglo-Saxons cultivated it deliberately in their gardens. Medieval monks grew it in monastery gardens alongside their most prized medicinal herbs. They called it the elixir of life. In 1500, dandelion appeared in European apothecary records as a treatment for kidney disease, liver dysfunction, and digestive weakness. The entire plant was used. Nothing was wasted. Roots for medicine, leaves for food, flowers for wine and dye. By the 1600s, colonists carried dandelion seeds to North America intentionally. They packed them alongside wheat and barley. They planted it. They wanted it to spread. The Iroquois, the Ojibwe, and the Cherokee quickly adopted it into their own practices. They boiled the roots for medicine. They ate the leaves for strength. They used the flowers in ceremonies. They recognized value that modern humans have been trained to forget. For centuries, dandelion was cultivated. Farmers grew it deliberately. Markets sold it openly. Families passed down recipes for dandelion wine, dandelion salad, roasted dandelion root coffee. It was normal. It was valued. It was food. Then something shifted. In 1947, the Scots Company began marketing 2,4-D, a herbicide, to American homeowners. 2,4-D was a component of Agent Orange, the chemical weapon that would later devastate Vietnam and cause generations of birth defects. Scots repackaged it for suburban lawns. The same chemical designed to destroy jungle cover became the solution for yellow flowers in your grass. The marketing was surgical. Dandelions became symbols of neglect. A perfect lawn meant a lawn without weeds, and weeds meant anything that grew without permission. Magazine advertisements showed pristine green carpets. Television commercials depicted horrified neighbors pointing at yellow-spotted lawns. The message was clear. Dandelions meant failure. Dandelions meant you did not care. Dandelions meant you were less than your neighbors. By 1950, the American lawn care industry had created a new cultural norm. Dandelions were the enemy. Homeowners associations wrote bylaws against them. Neighbors reported each other for unmowed lawns. Cities passed ordinances requiring weed removal. No one asked why a plant that had fed humanity for millennia suddenly needed to be destroyed. No one questioned why a flower that symbolized wishes for children had become a symbol of shame for adults. The answer was economics, pure and simple. You cannot sell fertilizer to someone who grows dandelions. The plant fixes its own nitrogen. Its deep taproot brings minerals to the surface that other plants cannot access. You cannot sell herbicides to someone who eats dandelions. They want it to spread. They celebrate when it appears. You cannot create dependency when the most nutritious plant on the property arrives for free every spring and returns no matter what you do to stop it. The lawn care industry reached $47 billion in 2023. Bayer alone generated over $25 billion in crop science revenue, a significant portion from herbicides designed to kill broadleaf plants like dandelion. Scott's Miracle-Gro sells over $4 billion annually in lawn products. Roundup, 2,4-D, dicamba, triclopyr, an entire arsenal of chemicals engineered to destroy a plant that humans cultivated for 30,000 years. Their business model requires you to see free food as an enemy. Their quarterly earnings depend on your ignorance. But science tells a different story. In 2014, researchers at the University of Maryland published findings on dandelion's nutritional density. The numbers were stunning. 100 grams of raw dandelion greens contained 3.1 milligrams of iron, compared to 2.6 in beef sirloin. They contain 112 milligrams of calcium, compared to 11 in steak. They provide 508 milligrams of potassium, more than bananas. They deliver over 100% of your daily vitamin A requirement in a single serving, over 50% of your vitamin C. And they are one of the richest plant sources of vitamin K on Earth, providing over 500% of daily needs per 100 grams. Compare this to iceberg lettuce, the most consumed salad green in America. Iceberg provides almost nothing. Trace iron, minimal vitamins, mostly water. Americans pay for lettuce trucked across the country while poisoning a more nutritious alternative growing free in their own yards. In 2017, a study published in the Journal of Food Biochemistry analyzed dandelion root and found concentrations of inulin reaching up to 40% by dry weight. Inulin is a prebiotic fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. It does not spike blood sugar, it promotes calcium absorption, it supports immune function. Diabetics in clinical settings have shown improved glucose control when consuming inulin-rich foods regularly. The root you throw away contains medicine that pharmaceutical companies charge money to synthesize. But here is where dandelion becomes biologically extraordinary. Here is where scientists started using the word impossible. In 2009, researchers at the University of Windsor in Canada discovered that dandelion root extract induced apoptosis in human melanoma cells without damaging healthy cells. The study, led by Dr. Sayaram Pandey, showed that dandelion root killed cancer cells within 48 hours while leaving normal cells completely unharmed. The selectivity was remarkable. It targeted only the diseased tissue. Clinical trials followed. The results were promising enough that Health Canada approved human trials for dandelion root extract against leukemia and other blood cancers. Phase 1 trials began in 2012. This is not fringe science. This is not internet conspiracy. This is peer-reviewed research from accredited universities, funded by government health agencies, published in respected journals. The plant you poison every spring has been studied for anti-cancer properties at the molecular level, and it grows for free in sidewalk cracks. And it survives everything. Dandelion taproots reach up to 15 feet into the soil. They access water and minerals that shallow-rooted crops cannot touch. While your tomatoes wilt in drought, dandelion keeps producing. While your lettuce bolts in heat, dandelion stays edible. The plant tolerates frost, poor soil, compaction, pollution, and neglect. It thrives in conditions where commercial vegetables surrender and die. Each flower head produces up to 200 seeds. Each seed can travel miles on the wind. A single plant can generate over 5,000 seeds per year, and each seed carries the genetic memory of 30,000 years of survival. You cannot kill dandelion without poison. Pulling it leaves root fragments that regenerate within days. Mowing it encourages lateral growth and faster reproduction. It blooms earlier than most plants and later into fall. When pollinators emerge starving in early spring, dandelion is often the only food source available. Killing dandelions kills bees. The lawn care industry does not mention that in their advertisements. Industrial agriculture cannot tolerate this plant. A crop that requires no irrigation, no fertilizer, no pest control, and no replanting threatens every revenue stream modern agribusiness depends on. You cannot patent a dandelion. You cannot genetically modify it into sterility and force farmers to buy new seeds annually. You cannot create Roundup-ready dandelion because dandelion already resists everything nature throws at it. So they taught you to hate it. They taught your parents to hate it. They spent 70 years and billions of dollars making sure you would never see free food when you looked at your lawn. When the next recession hits, when food prices spike beyond what working families can afford, dandelion will still be there. When drought destroys commercial crops dependent on irrigation systems that are already failing across the American West, dandelion will still be producing leaves and roots. Its 15-foot taproot pulls moisture from depths your garden vegetables will never reach. When supply chains collapse and grocery stores empty, dandelion will not notice. It does not need supply chains. It does not need trucks. It does not need permission. Learn to identify it. The leaves are jagged and hairless, growing in a rosette directly from the ground. They look like a lion's teeth pointing backward toward the center. The stems are hollow and contain a milky white sap that bleeds when broken. The flowers are bright yellow, turning into the white seed heads children blow into the wind to make wishes. The roots are brown outside, white inside, and filled with milky latex when fresh. There is no poisonous look-alike in North America that matches all these features together. Harvest the leaves in early spring before the plant flowers for the mildest flavor. The younger the leaf, the less bitter the taste. Eat them raw in salads or sautéed with garlic and olive oil like the Italians do. Harvest the roots in fall after the first frost when inulin content peaks and the energy of the plant has retreated underground. Roast them slowly at 250 degrees until dark brown, then grind them into a coffee substitute that supported European communities during both world wars when supply lines collapsed. The flowers can be made into wine, infused into honey, battered and fried, or used fresh in salads. Stop poisoning your free food. Stop paying corporations to destroy the most nutritious plant on your property. Stop believing that survival must be purchased at a store. The dandelion never left. It is still there, in every crack in the sidewalk, every neglected lawn, every patch of soil where poison has not yet reached. It has been waiting for 30,000 years. It fed your ancestors through famines you never learned about in school. It grew in the rubble of bombed European cities and fed survivors who had nothing else. It will feed your grandchildren through crises that have not yet arrived. Every person who learns to see dandelion as food instead of enemy becomes harder to control. Every yard where dandelion is harvested instead of sprayed is a small act of economic resistance. Every meal made from a plant that costs nothing is a meal that owes nothing to any corporation, any supply chain, any permission slip from the economy. We did not lose the dandelion, we just forgot what it was. The knowledge lives in every wild patch, every sidewalk crack, every yard where the free food keeps coming back, no matter how many times they try to poison it out of existence. If this root revealed something for you, subscribe to Recession Roots and hit the bell. Every like and every share preserves as stipe what they tried to poison out of existence. The next root breaks ground soon